Hi, thanks for tuning in. My name is Ralph Rizzo with Hidden Pet Fence. Today I'm going to be doing a review on the most recent purchase and review of a SpotOn Nova collar. It is May of 26 when we're doing this video. We've tested it outside on a couple different properties and we'll have some information on that. But this part of the video is more about some of the things you should know about it. Number one, if you want this collar to be part of alerts and tracking on your app, there is a $10 a month fee that you have to pay for. The warranty on this collar is 1 year. A lot of the systems that we sell have lifetime warranties, but this one only comes with a 1 year collar. The size of the collar, I love to show the size difference. This is the most common collar that we sell today. To keep dogs in with a wired fence, and this is a GPS collar made by SpotOn. You can see the difference. You can put this on a 4-pound dog and bigger. This one that says 15 pounds, when you try to put this on a 15-pound dog, it's almost too hard to do. We recommend that the dogs are 40 pounds or more to even try to attempt to put this collar on successfully. But again, back to the collar. It is not recommended to let your dog wear this collar inside the house. The reason why is because as soon as we walk inside properties with it, they start going off. They start beeping, vibrating, and stuff like that. So if you are to have a collar like this, you have to remove it before the dog goes in the house. Some of the things in the instructions tell you to, if you've got a lot of trees, you might have some issue. The size of your house, the distance from your property line to or your house to the road, the property line from side to side on the sides of your houses, there's some restrictions there. Metal roofs can interfere with this thing, so those are things you want to keep in mind. The manual says that you can use this on a half an acre property, and then some other information that's in the box says 1/3 of an acre. Those are pretty close in size. These things don't work well in less than a couple acre size property. You'll see some of the reactions that we had out in the field. One of the downfalls of using this kind of fence versus a wired fence anyways is that you can make multiple zones with the wired fence, and it makes it very challenging with this because the signal could go in the house and it just doesn't work too good. Let's see. You cannot do a 3-sided loop. What that means is we do a lot of fence installations for people that have lakefront property. So we just do a fence like 3 sides so the dog is able to go into the water or go onto their boat dock or something. With the SpotOn Nova collar, it does have to be a fully contained loop. Some of the other notes I have here, the way that it activates. So you walk around, you use the app, use the collar to set up exactly where the boundary is going to be, and we're going to call the boundary line, say here. This collar is supposed to start to beep about 10 feet away from that boundary line. It'll beep that beep for about 5 feet, and then it'll change tones into a different style of beep until you reach the boundary line, and at that point it'll start to vibrate and give a little bit of shock sensation on the dog's neck. The shock levels on these collars are very, very high. For me to train a dog, it makes it a little bit harder to do because I don't like to train using high shock levels. Our wired pet fencing systems have a lot more adjustability to where we can train on a much more humane level that works a little bit better. But anyways, this is supposed to vibrate and beep once you get to that boundary line, and if they go beyond, it's supposed to continue unless they turn around and start to come back. So there's a problem with that feature. It seems nice that the dog is now able to come back into the yard without feeling anything, but the problem is if you go past that boundary line and turn the collar like this, it does shut off, but if the dog starts running down the street that way, it doesn't activate. So there's some good stuff built into it. It just, when you go to actually use it and think it's a good thing, it's not. They claim that this collar is more accurate than cell phone GPS technology. That I will 100% say is false. It is not that way whatsoever. The sometimes this collar will go off here, and then sometimes it'll go off here, and sometimes it'll go off past the line. It's not very consistent, and we've got some videos that we can show using this collar on a property, and you'll see the results that we had. Their training process that they give you says it takes 1 to 2 weeks of you training your dog on this collar. There's a lot of walking around, there's a lot of adjustments. The one thing that I will tell you, when we train with a wired pet fence like this collar, that one works. If you put the line here, it works exactly where it's supposed to, and you can train the dog in a small zone very successfully with a humane training process. With this one here, the zone starts, and then you have to go 10 to 12 feet past to where it starts to beep for where the vibration and the shock actually start to happen. So training is just a little bit harder with this than with our wired pet fence that we install, that we do training with. They also put in their paperwork that no containment system will ever contain every dog out there. Well, when you buy a dog fence from me and we do a wired fence, there's a 100% money back guarantee, and there's a containment guarantee. So we do that with our wired fencing on almost all of our products. We do have a 100% success rate, by the way, doing that. So the one thing that I like to talk about, this is a containment collar. This is supposed to be a containment collar to keep your dog in the yard all the time. That's the #1 reason for this to be made. It is a tracking collar too, so if you are taking your dog out to your lake property or to your hunting camp or something, it's good for tracking on the app. You do have to pay the $10 monthly service for that, but it's made to contain your dog. That is the most important thing. Charging this battery every day versus the wired systems that we have like this, where it's only once a month, it can be a little bit of a pain in the butt. Taking it off every time the dog comes in can be a little bit of a pain in the butt. I do believe that someday these collars are going to be as good as the wired system. Right now, as of the time of taking this video, it's not what we're finding. But you'll watch the rest of our video or catch some of our other videos that we'll be putting up that show us actually showing the activation area on a yard and how it changes from 1 minute to the next. Activates here, and then the next video it activates 30 feet past that. On most properties, that could be a really bad thing. So I appreciate you tuning in. Again, this is for the SpotOn Nova collar. This is Ralph with Hidden Pet Fence, and I appreciate you tuning in. SpotOn does not send you this group of flags. This is just flags that we brought out here for this video. This row of flags is the boundary line, and then this row of flags is about 10 feet away from that boundary line. The way that that collar is supposed to activate is we have five feet approximately of one tone, and then when you go past that 5 feet from 6 to 10, it's a separate tone. And then once we reach these flags or go just a tad bit behind that or past that, it's going to vibrate and give away the shock on the collar. So with that said, that's the boundary line. This is where it's going to start to beep. We're set up on about a ½ an acre property here. I've got the collar in my hand. My dog's neck level will be about here. And I'm going to start walking. It's starting to beep right here. Right? And it's starting to beep. Okay, so it starts to beep here. 1, 2, 3, 4. At 4 feet, it changed the tone. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We're at 13 feet away from where it's supposed to even start activating. And now this is where it's supposed to just start the beeps, and it didn't. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Now another set of beeps. Doesn't even matter why I'm counting right now. I'm at the boundary. It's another set of tones. And it's still beeping. And it's vibrating now. So if you look back on the house, we're about 40 feet away from where it started to beep, 40 to 50 feet away from where it started. It started 14 feet before the flags or something like that, and activated multiple different times, and it's not vibrating anymore. So we tried it over there, had some crazy results. That's all we did was just move over a little bit. Again, the straight line goes all the way down there just past that tree. And I got the collar in the safe area. I'm gonna start walking again. Still nothing. Still nothing. This thing is not even working. There's the first beep. If you look, it's supposed to start beeping at those flags. It's supposed to start shocking here. If this is the first beep, you got a couple of feet. Now it's getting its second beeps. We're in the street. We're in the street, it's still beeping. And it's vibrating and shocking now. So if you want to look back towards those flags, I'll tell you how many feet we are. One. So this is where it's supposed to start vibrating and giving the stimulation. And we went over 25 feet past that before that happened. We got past this section before it even started to activate. That's all we did was move down 10 feet. There's a little bit of clouds in the area. I mean, it's been partly sunny today, so it's not like we're getting storms or anything. But this is an exact reason that we are concerned about the activation of these collars. You can hear how far into the yard I am. It starts beeping again. So we'll test it again, see if we have the same results in the same line. We're in the safe area. This row of flags is where it's supposed to get the first set of beeps. And now it's working. Well, it beeped for a second. The last time we got to the sidewalk before it started to beep. That one beep shut off, obviously. Still nothing. Now we're getting the first round of beeps that we're supposed to have back there, which is about 25, 30 feet away. That's the second set of beeps now. It just turned off. Now it's vibrating. So it just went into vibrate and shock mode. So you can see how far away we are. If the dog turns this way, it's still vibrating. Turns this way, it stopped vibrating. So now your dog can run to the neighbors, run down the road, run out here. Okay, it just started vibrating again. Anyways, we tried two different parts of the exact same yard, and it activates 13 to 15 feet, whatever that was, before the line. I move over here and it activates 20 to 30 feet after the line. Hi, we're at a different location now where we're gonna do the SpotOn Nova collar. If you look over here, you'll see there's two sets of flags. The set that's furthest away from me is the boundary line. The ones that are closest to me are about 10 feet away. That's where it's supposed to give the first round of beeps. In between the two, at 5 feet in between those two sets of flags, it'll do a different set of beeps. And then once I reach the flags, it should do a vibration and shock. So right now we're about 20 feet away from the line. We're going where it's supposed to activate. Okay, we're starting to get the first rounds of beeps here. We're getting the next set of beeps here. And now it's starting to vibrate here. So it's about 3 or 4 feet off, which isn't bad. The earlier property, it was all over the place. Now if I keep going, it just stopped working for whatever reason. It just stopped working. It's supposed to stop working if the dog turns around and comes back. But and it's vibrating again now as the dog is coming back. So the feature is supposed to be if the dog turns around and comes back, it turns off. At that time it didn't work exactly like it should. But this is working a lot better than the property that we did earlier. It's a little bit clearer out. The sun's starting to pop out, so I don't know if that's the reason why or not, but we're gonna check it again. Dog is approaching the line. Starting to beep here, 3-4 feet past. Second set of beeps starting here. And it's starting to vibrate right here. So almost the exact same results. If the dog runs, it's still beeping or still vibrating, still shocking. Dog turns around, it's still okay, it just shut off. So it just shut off. This is supposed to be a safety feature that the dog can run back in, but if he sees another squirrel and turns around and runs, it's not activated. There's no activation over here whatsoever. So that little safety feature that they put in so the dog turns around and it doesn't continue to get the shock coming back in, it's a nice thought of a feature, but it doesn't work on the 2 properties that we checked it on. And we're gonna try it one more time. We've had good results with this property. We didn't have such good results at the last property. So we're gonna try it again. Beeping in the exact same spot. Second beep a little bit earlier. Oh, and it's vibrating right. So it's vibrating now, vibrating now, vibrating now. So this worked the best of the 3 tries. If the dog tries to go again, it's starting to vibrate again. He turns around to come back in, but it's still vibrating, it's still shocking. It's still vibrating and shocking in my hand, and now it just shut off. So it did shut off finally. You gotta think of this as I'm walking back and forth. Dogs aren't walking through the boundary and walking back in. They're running, they're hightailing it. So in this scenario, the dog is chasing a squirrel. It's vibrating now. It didn't start beeping until we were already past the line. So you can see now he's coming back in. It's still vibrating, and it just shut off now that we passed the line. So with me moving slowly on this property, it's working pretty good. Over here. But when the dog is running, you can see it doesn't have the same kind of reactions. Watch. That didn't start to beep until I was here. It is vibrating over here, but you can see it's supposed to start beeping there. We're 10, 11, 12, 14 feet away before it started to get its first warning beeps. So again, second property today. It is a little bit clearer out, so we had a little bit better results, but the results are varied.